What's going on, everybody? You're tuned in to another episode of Whiskey Business. My name is Jesse, and if this is your first time tuning into the channel, thanks for stopping by. If you do go on to enjoy this video, or just enjoy whiskey in general, I'd really appreciate a subscribe and a like. It's free, and it really helps me in the channel out, and helps me to keep the content coming. Don't forget to smash that notification button to stay up to date with all my newest posts. And please drop a comment down below letting me know what you guys thought of this video. New uploads every Sunday afternoon, with the exception of some sprinkled through the week if I got some extras, like this video. Obviously I'm going to be releasing on Canada Day, hence the maple syrup, and the Tim's cup full of water, and also the $2 coin, and the $1 coin, and the plastic Monopoly money, as most Americans refer to it. So yeah, we've got all our Canadian props ready. So I'm wearing the Canadian attire. Got the Blue Jays. I'm not a baseball fan, I'm not gonna lie, but you know, I had to dress for the occasion. So anyways, with all that out of the way, let's get into some whiskey business. Welcome back. As I stated before, today is Canada Day, or at least when you're watching this. So I thought there's no better way to celebrate Canada Day than with a local Canadian distillery. So if you guys have some Canadian whiskey sitting around, or just any whiskey for that matter, pour a dram and let's get right into this. So let's move our Tim Hortons out of the way. And our maple syrup. We'll have to put the maple syrup back there. It's got to stay as a prop, you know. The colorful money. Let you guys get a close-up of our colorful Monopoly money there. It's plastic, rip-proof, super exciting stuff up in Canada. So yeah, and honestly, what do you guys know about a $2 coin? Okay. You guys have it easy carrying around light dollar bills. We have to carry, look at this, we have to carry around $2 coins. Not really. But anyways, without further ado, the distillery that we're going to be talking about today is one that I've mentioned in the past. One that I recently got turned on to, and ever since I've really fallen in love with them. So yeah, let's jump right into it. This is going to be another episode of the decapitation series. And in today's bottle decapitation, we're going to be doing Stock and Barrel Single Malt. So this is a Canadian single malt craft micro distillery based out of Vaughan, which is neighboring Toronto. And then along with that, we're going to be tasting and reviewing Stock and Barrel 100% Rye. Obviously, I've put a dent into that one. The Stock and Barrel Rye, love it. And then we've got the Stock and Barrel Blue Blend. Along with that, there is a red blend, but the LCBO is no longer carrying it, so that's unfortunate, but it's okay. We're going to do what we have here. So I guess without further ado, let's decapitate this bottle. We got a little tag on here. It says World Whiskey Awards Best Canadian Single Cask Single Malt of 18. So I guess 2018, I would assume. And then see if we can get into this. These Canadian ones are always a pain. For me, at least, I should say for me, because you know, most people don't have a problem with it. So this is Stock and Barrel's single malt. So first up, does she pop? It's like a double pop. It's like a pop and a glug. So We're using the wee Glencairns today because we're going to be sipping on a few here. So this will be my first time trying the single malt blue blend. Obviously, we've put quite a dent in it. We're gonna spill a little bit because, you know, it's not a Whiskey 2 video if you don't spill a little bit. That's the honest truth, and you know it. I will say the blue blend and the 100% rye here are very simple whiskeys. They're not super layered and not super complex by any means, but they are a damn good value for what you're getting. So as these breathe, let's get into the distillery a little bit. So these are actually distilled by Stillwater's distillery under the name Stalk and Barrel, which actually they had just sold their name, so they're going to be a little bit more mass produced now. Should be easier to get their hands on, but the head distillers, Barry and Barry Stein, both spelled differently, are still going to be head distillers there. They just sold the rights to the company, and they're still going to be producing a single malt whiskey on the Stillwater's distillery. As far as I know, I talked to one of the Barrys, and that is all they have plans to do. Of course, as it sits right now, these are all pretty young. The actual distillery was founded in 2009, so it's not super old, but I imagine they're going to be releasing an older version of this single malt soon. And I mean, if it's anything like these, the blue and the rye are definitely young, but they are, like I said, a damn good value and just super delicious. So like I said, they do actually have another one, red blend, not available anymore. The price for these go as such. Single malt here retails for $69.95. It's actually on sale right now. I guess they're trying to clear out stock on the LCBO website, sitting at $52.25. And as far as I know, these are mainly online exclusives. At least I know this one is. These may be available on location, but you'd have to check. The 100% rye is sitting at $29.30. The blue blend is $29.95. All super cheap. These are all non-chill filtered, no color added, handmade from grained glass in the small batch. I think this is even single cask. Blue blend is just says art, science, passion. Craft is our pride. We believe this outstanding artisanal blended whiskey is exceptional product in both taste and quality. So yeah, they're all about quality. Barry and Barry definitely know what they're doing, and I think they're definitely changing the Canadian whiskey game as we know it. Let's get a little bit more into this. So they were founded in 2009, and it was actually Ontario's first micro distillery, so that's super cool. And I actually hadn't heard about these guys until like I seen an online exclusive for the rye, and I just happened to pick it up, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Just super fruity, sweet green apple. And then I picked up this one, super excited for it. I was only really getting like a few notes, but when I found out what the note I was getting was, I kind of fell in love with it, and I'll share that with you in a little bit. So they won 2013 Distillery of the Year for their Stock and Barrel single malt, and they won 2016 Craft Producer of the Year. They also won 2017 Artisanal Distillery of the Year. And then along with this tag says the World Whiskey Awards 2018 Best Canadian Single Cask Single Malt. I'm sure there is some other ones. I know there's Glen Breton makes some good stuff. So if these guys beat Glen Breton, it's probably saying something, right? They only have the 4 products as of right now, but like I said, they're going to be coming out with new stuff, rebranding a little bit in the near future. They're posting it on Instagram already. It's just not available to the general public as far as I know, but I've emailed them, and I will definitely stay up to date on when it comes out. They actually did start with vodka, so it's a 5 times distilled barley based vodka. They got custom Carl Germany stills from guy actually came over from Germany, worked for Carl, and made their stills custom for their little micro distillery, which I thought was pretty cool. The vodka is 5 times distilled, whiskey's 2 times distilled, and they have a 450 liter copper pot still, as long as a 4-plate column still and a 12-plate column still. So they've got the 3 stills. As I said, no chill filtering, aged minimum of 3 years for the single malt at least. There's no age statements on any of them, but like I said, these 2 are definitely quite young. I've yet to try this one, but at least 3 years. So Canada, unlike Scotland, does not filter the wort or beer before it enters the pot still. So all the grain from the mash is placed into the still. They call this the stripping run, and it contributes to the richness of the flavor. Second distillation is ran through the pot still, comes out at about 70% ABV, then is ready to be aged in custom white oak barrels from a wine cooper, as well as ex-bourbon barrels sourced from different bourbon distilleries undisclosed. Overall, like I said, they strive for quality, consistency, uniqueness, and make a good impression for those new to Canadian whiskey, and I definitely stand by that. I'm not the biggest fan of Canadian whiskey. I did start my journey on it, but I'm not the biggest fan. I think bourbon has a lot more to offer, but I think these guys are doing it well, and they're almost following a Scotch type process, and I like that. Scotch and Irish combined, making up Stock and Barrel, I would say, and they strive for quality. And I mean, as far as their prices goes, for non-chill filtered, no color added, and did I mention 46%? So bumped up from the bottom line 40%, and like I said, $29.30 for that bottle. That's a steal. This is sitting at 40%, the blue blend, so that is right at the bar, but 46% on the single malt. So let's go ahead and get into the rye. Now this is just sweet rye grain, sweet green apple, just super sweet and sour green apple. That is the one note that is always super prominent. A little bit woody, a slight bit of warm spice, but this isn't your traditional warming drink by the fire while you're camping type rye. This is super light, sweet, and fruity. Totally a fresh nose and palate. A little bit of eucalyptus in there maybe. But yeah, absolutely love that nose. Just super light, bright, and fresh. And if you like green apples, this is it. This is the Stock and Barrel rye. So Blue Blend. Blue Blend is one that took me a while to open up to. I was a little bit disappointed because I really liked the rye And this one I was just like, it's just kind of like sweet. I couldn't put my nose, quite literally, on the notes I was getting until one day I was drinking a carbonated lemon water and I smelled this and I took a sip and I said, you know what? That smells exactly like a sour cream glazed Timbit. Now, if you know Tim Hortons, if you're Canadian, you know Tim Hortons, and you've ever went in there and they're fresh glazing the sour cream glazed Timbits or baking them, or you just have a box of them, or a bag with a sour cream glazed donut in it, and you smell it, that is exactly the nose I get off this. Again, super simple, not super complex. I just call it glazed sour cream donut or Timbit. You get a little bit of that fresh, crisp green apple up in there as well. A little bit of grain. You get some vanilla and some cinnamon and maybe a little bit of toffee, which I think all contribute to the glazed donut scent that I was talking about. But overall, amazing. And I will say that the blue blend is a blend of corn, rye, and malt whiskies. Now, on to the new single malt here. Okay. I'm getting that same fresh nose. It's a little bit crispier, like a really sour crisp apple. Which is weird because I get that in the rye, but this is a single malt. I'm not sure why it would be the same, but I'm getting some of that vanilla too from the blue blend. This is just such a crisp apple. Like I can't stress enough. Crisp apple, honeydew melon, white grape, just the faintest little bit of lemon citrus up in there. Wow. All of their noses super bright and fresh. I love them. So without further ado, guys, I know you've been waiting for a while, so happy Canada Day to all you Canadians out there. And if you're American, well, 4th of July is coming up pretty soon, so cheers to that, and we'll probably be doing a bourbon video for that. But anyways, let's get into the Stalk and Barrel single malt. That's honeydew melon with a little bit of spice in there, a little bit of oak spice, rye spice. Really warming, actually. I didn't expect that. You can see the legs on that. It's a decent oiliness, I would say. It's thin, but it's got an oiliness to it, probably because it's non-chill filtered. I really like it. It's again, it's super simple, not super complex. Just spice, honeydew melon, nice crisp apple, like the crispest green apple, like just straight off the tree. Like if you've ever gone apple picking, that's actually what I relate this to. You get a little bit of that wax still on it. You know, you wipe off what you can, but you get that really fresh, crisp apple, honeydew melon, almost honeydew melon with a little bit of honey on top, and that nice warming spice on the back end into the finish. It starts off just super light, bright, and sweet, goes into this nice warming effect, and honestly the finish is taking me right down. Just very warm, definitely rye-esque. That's what I will say. I really do like that finish. So 46% ABV. Let's take a sip of our non-sponsored Tim Hortons water. Why does everything in a Tim Hortons cup hit different? That's a lie, it doesn't. I actually don't like drinking out of these paper cups. It kind of ruins my coffee, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. I still love Tim's coffee in it. But you drink it out of a glass mug or porcelain, it's a lot better, not going to lie. So into this rye, just sour green apple. Reminds me of like a sour green apple candy that I would have as a kid. Maybe like those sour green apple juicy drop pops. If you've ever had those, you pull the little candy stick out and then you put that diabetes syrup up on it. that's what I'm actually getting. It's very reminiscent of that. I like that. It's taking me back to my childhood a little bit. Not like it was that far ago, but you know, cheers. Yeah, so a lot fresher, crisper. A little bit of black pepper actually on the palate. And actually, I'm getting this note that reminds me of something that you would taste at the dentist. Lidocaine, is that what it's called? Something super like sterile, but like medical, not in a bad way, but in a good way. And that's very interesting. Very interesting. Definitely doesn't have as much spice on the back end. Finish is not very long compared to this one, but overall it's just a light fruity rye. I think it's the most fruity rye I've ever had. I think that would be really good in a cocktail. Martini, even, you know, you replace the vodka with something like that, sour green apple. I think you'd be rocking. And the blue blend, the sour cream glazed donut. That's what I refer to this as. It's just such a beautiful nose. A lot smoother. It is coming in at 40%. And I will say that this rye definitely does come across not super ethanol forward, but it's definitely young. I will say that. Nothing wrong with that though. I mean, you got to start somewhere. Like I said, into the future, I think as they start having longer age products, they're really going to be producing some amazing stuff. They already are, but yeah, so at 40%, it's a lot thinner. It's still got a decent amount of oil, but it is a lot thinner than these 246% whiskeys. They're not thick by any means, but they do have a nice oiliness, if that makes sense. Like, I separate oiliness and like the thick viscosity. So this is like a thin olive oil, almost as if you took a swig of some olive oil, like some nice light extra virgin olive oil. That's how I describe these. This is a little bit more thin, but overall just sweet, like a donut glaze, cinnamon, vanilla. Toffee doesn't come across. The nothing fresh on this one, just grain, sweet, donut, literally donut. That's it. So I'm gonna have to say they're not super complex. Let me see. We're gonna do some searching here. Not only am I searching for my pen, but searching for a reasonable rating, because I really enjoy the nose and the palate, but they are super simple, and it's kind of upsetting. But like I said, the price, you can't go wrong. It's local. It's this is single cask. It's all non-chill filtered, no color. And if you know Canada, they just love to dump color up in things. I think they're allowed up to 9% additives to their whiskeys here in Canada. So to see a brand that is, you know, they take pride in being clean and quality, I support that a lot. I don't know of any other local distilleries like 40 Creek, stuff like that. They definitely all add stuff to their whiskeys, so they're still good, but I think it beats Canadian Club any day. Even some of the Gibsons, 40 Creek, I did really like 40 Creek, but I think it beats a lot of the 40 Creeks. Copperpot's still good, but just very sweet and syrupy and more artificial than these. These are super clean, and they just taste true, if that makes sense, like a really nice, true quality scotch. So on the nose, the single malt is going to get a 70. I think it's good. Again, not super complex, doesn't smell as nice as some of these other ones. The rye is going to get a 75, and the blue blend is going to get a 77. The blue blend just smells super nice, like you just walked into a Dunkin' Donuts or somewhere that just fresh glazes donuts. But specifically, if you've had sour cream donuts or sour cream glazed donuts or Timbits, I think that is the exact note that I get on the nose and palate. So, single malt on the palate. Keeping in mind it's a neck pour. I'm going to go ahead and give that a 73. I really like the light fruity freshness of the tip of the tongue feel. The viscosity is not too bad. I like the oiliness. It coats the mouth. The black pepper on the back end into a nice warm rye spice finish is really nice. So 73. The finish on that, I'm going to go ahead and bump that up to a 77. And honestly, if I'm comparing it to other Canadian whiskeys, it's light years ahead of most Canadian whiskeys as far as the finish goes. So there's that. The rye, on the palate is going to get a 75 as well. Just super light, crisp, fruity apple. Reminds me of, like I said, the green apple juicy drop pop. Really nice. Maybe simple, but I think this would make a great cocktail mixer, and it's just super clean tasting. Like, you can taste the cleanness. Now that I'm tasting it again, a little bit of like herbal or grassy vegetative note, but yeah, still 75 all around. The finish on that one, it's a little bit warm, but it's not very long at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna have to give the finish a 68. It's not super exciting, not anything to write home about. And a blue blend on the palate, it's nice. I like it. It's not super complex. It's very one note, but it tastes good. I'm gonna have to give that a 71 on the palate. And on the finish, well, I'm not gonna lie, guys, the finish is where the blue blend is severely lacking. I think the extra 6% bump up in these two give it a little bit of a notch ahead in the finish, but overall, it's still a good sipping whiskey. And as far as Canadian whiskey goes, I think bang for the buck, there's nothing better. I'm gonna give that finish a 64. It's not really prevalent, but you know, it's on par with most Canadian whiskeys. Canadian Club, Standard Offering, even their 12-year. You know, Canadian whiskey really tends to finish really weak for me, as opposed to like a bourbon or like a nice scotch, especially like finished scotches. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the overall rankings. This feels like it's been a really long video and I've talked everyone's ears off, but the single malt is gonna go ahead and get a overall score of 75 for the Stalk and Barrel single malt. The rye, I'm gonna give a 72 overall. It's good, light, crisp, fresh, reminiscent of candy I used to eat when I was a kid. And yeah, overall, I think it would be a great mixer in certain cocktails, replacing vodka, because it's super clean tasting like a vodka. Not too much oak, not too much spice, just like a green apple vodka, if that makes sense. The blue blend is going to get an overall score of 71. Very one note, but very reminiscent of a donut shop. I'm not the biggest donut fan, but they smell delicious. If you've ever been to like any sort of fair where they have like I think it's Tim Tom, or Dunkin' Donuts, where they make the fresh donuts in-house, or a Krispy Kreme donuts, that is exactly the nose and palate I get. Super simple, but overall super enjoyable experience. And like I said, I'll say it for the 4th time probably in this video, maybe even more, for the price, you can't beat it. So that's gonna do it for this episode. Hope everyone's staying safe, having a great Canada Day, and I'll probably see you guys on the 4th of July where we review some American bourbons and rye. Yeah, I've really been putting this Stalk and Barrel one off, but if you enjoyed this, really would appreciate a subscribe, a like, and comment what you thought down below. If you've tried these, if you're Canadian, and especially if you're local to Ontario, give these a try. I think for the price, you cannot go wrong. You're gonna pay more for Canadian Club 12 year, for a Gibson's Bold 8 year, anything like that. You're gonna pay a lot more. So go ahead and give these a try. You may have to order them online, but as long as you have a minimum order of whatever on the LCBO site, you can get these. They're online exclusives, but get them while they're still available, because as I said, they're rebranding and everything, and I don't know if they're gonna taste different when they come out. But overall, give Stalk and Barrel a try. It's a great brand. They take pride in quality, and they're craft and micro, and they're local. So anyways, this has been Whiskey Business, guys, and cheers.